Greetings, my movie geeks. Bond has been released. I wanted to delve into No Time to Die, as it holds a lot that we should be able to unpack. So from here on out, there will be spoilers. So if you've seen No Time to Die, it is for your eyes only. But why does No Time to Die set up Bond's future better than any other Bond film before it? Please like, share, subscribe and ring that bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a video. And enjoy. Daniel Craig should go down as a fairly influential Bond. His tenure, which is 15 years and 5 films, have been game-changing in the way they are shot, in tone and in style. Casino Royale gave us an origin story of how he became a 00 agent. So it's safe to say that No Time to Die gave us his end. Spoilers. By this, I mean his 5 films chart his career as a 00. Outliving MI6 staff and villains alike, there has been a thread of being outdated and old. A carryover from the Cold War throughout, and No Time to Die culminates in Bond being the last piece of this. So, love it or loathe it, the end of No Time to Die works extremely well as an end to this series of Bond movies. Arguably, they could carry on with this, with what they've built since Casino Royale, but I don't reckon they will because, let's face it, brand new Bond means a reboot. Daniel Craig's era of Bond has been a different sort of Bond series. Looking back at others, Connery, Lazenby, Moore, Dalton, Brosnan, they all had tenuous links to each other, some more than others. Moore's for your eyes only references on Her Majesty's Secret Service, as Bond visits Tracy's grave. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, references Connery being the other fellow.
This never happened to the other fella.
As a funny nod to the actor's change, or even setting up Bond as a code name, which I like. There are more, as in License to Kill has the recurring character Felix Leiter, played by David Hedison, who also played the character in Live and Let Die. Then there's a series of actors who have played recurring characters throughout. M, played by Bernard Lee from Dr. No to Moonraker. Miss Moneypenny, played by Lois Maxwell from Dr. No until A View to a Kill. So even looking at this, there's always been a carryover. There's always been a link to the previous films. However, with Craig's Bond, he and his supporting characters don't change. There isn't any recasting. It is self-contained, away from the other Bond movies. And this makes me think a future casting of Bond could be anyone. There's a lot of names thrown around, and amongst them is Idris Elba, a fantastic actor who has successful roles. He could play Bond. After Craig's Bond, yes, he could. If Eon are going to continue making standalone series of Bond movies that are self-contained and not one long joint venture, they could cast Elba. But what Craig's Bond has done is make the character work so anyone can play Bond, no matter what ethnicity they are. It would work, and it would open the doors for more diverse cast and would represent everyone. And that is a great thing. Since Dr. No, we have been following the endless ticking of time. There has been no let up. The further on we get, the more the technology and gadgets move on. This was seen in Die Another Day, where Bond is given an invisible car, which some say was a terrible idea. But I don't see it and will defend it, as I defended it in my series In Defense Of, which you can watch here. But what if the next series of Bond films wasn't contemporary setting? What if Bond was timeless, or at least set when the books were set? Take the series back to the 60s and given the movie-making technology of today a shot at making a Bond film with the aesthetic of a film made back in the 60s. There'd actually be a reason for him to drive the 1964 Aston Martin DB5, because it's brand new. It can have all the gadgets it would have had in the 60s, but it wouldn't look dated. The GPS in Goldfinger. I'm not suggesting remake those movies. make something completely new, put a new spin on it, but have the films be set in a specific time period. It would make a completely timeless Bond film that I think would appeal to a lot of people. Now that you have noticed that I have only mentioned male actors in the place of Bond, and after Daniel Craig's recent interview, instead of changing James Bond's gender, make iconic characters for women to play. Now looking at No Time to Die and the character of Paloma, played by Ana de Armas, there are female characters who could be built upon and made to be iconic. She only appears in the film for about 15 minutes, and yet she will go down as one of the great characters from Bond. But if we're looking at Bond specifically, I agree with what Craig is saying, and Bond should be played by a man. But that's not stopping the filmmakers playing around with the concept. Skyfall suggested that Bond was bisexual. This could be explored in subsequent films. It isn't in the realms of possibility that Bond wouldn't go both ways, but it needs to be written and followed through. Hell, maybe one day we'll have a Bond that is attempting re-entry with Felix Leiter. Or perhaps we'll have a James Bond who doesn't align with any gender stereotype and is played by someone who identifies as they or them. Only time will tell. Bond's future is behind him. No Time to Die has done something great. It has ended Craig's Bond with a bang, quite literally. It has rounded out the film series and set up what could be a great future for Bond. As mentioned previously, taking the template from Craig's Bond, you could do anything with this franchise now. They don't need to stick with the old ways. They could go forward making entertaining films that don't have to be stuck in the same old stories. They can experiment, and experiment they should. No Time to Die, as Casino Royale did, has given Bond a new lease of life. The next Bond could be anyone. It can tell any story over a number of films. By experimenting with Daniel Craig as a split from the usual Bond type, they open the door to different storytelling and what exactly is Bond. Craig only stayed around for 5 films, but more than half of those films are great, and even the bad ones aren't terrible. Hopefully they won't rush to recast a Daniel Craig type so they can just replicate the series that they've just done. They need to reinvent the genre and make it feel fresh. So let's all grab our Vespa martinis, shaken not stirred, and drink to the next Bond. Here's the Bond, James Bond. Ugh, that's terrible. Thanks for watching. Have you got any suggestions for the next Bond? Have you seen No Time to Die? Does it and the Craig movies lend itself to justifying a standalone Bond movie in the future? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm Nate, the Ultimate Movie Geek, and I'll see you next week for something else.